It's a seasonal favorite, one especially around the holidays. Eggnog. Today, Frank Schultz and I will be showing you how you can make your very own eggnog and the significance of the science within the process of making it.
This is Frank Schultz and Peter Wlodkowski, and today we're going to be teaching you how to make the perfect cup of holiday eggnog using science. Alright, so we're going to take a look at the materials that we used for this project right away. The first thing you're going to need for eggnog is 12 eggs. That's what the recipe calls for, so that's what we use. You're going to need some kind of spirit. We used bourbon. The flavor goes really well with the cinnamon and the nutmeg that we used. And we'll talk more about bourbon's effect on the clotting later. You're also going to need some kind of cream. We went with light cream, but you can also use heavy cream as well. Also decreases the clotting. You're going to need some sugar. And you're going to need some milk as well. Spices are optional. As you can see here, we used ground cinnamon, so that's one thing you can go with. So first thing you're going to do is measure out 4 cups of milk. Alright, so here we've got kind of a medium-sized saucepan. You're going to add all 4 cups of milk to the saucepan, just like that. After that, you're going to add 1 cup of sugar to the saucepan. We're going to heat this momentarily to have the sugar entirely dissolve into the milk, so just 1 cup of sugar. Next, you're going to heat the contents of the saucepan on a nice low to medium flame. So as you do the next couple of steps, make sure that you're gradually checking back on the solution in the saucepan and just kind of gradually agitating it. You want to heat it up for maybe 1 to 2 minutes just so you can kind of see some steam coming off of it. But what you don't want to have is the sugar cake onto the bottom of the pan. Next up, crack all 12 eggs into a nice mixing bowl. As always, make sure you're agitating the solution in the pan. And here's all 12 eggs, whites and the yolks. Take a nice whisk and whisk those bad boys right up. So as you can see here, we got the milk solution nice and steamy and hot. Now the sugar's all dissolved and we've got our eggs nicely blended, kind of a uniform consistency there. So these two we're going to combine in the mixing bowl momentarily. Alright, so very gently take the milk solution off the heat and slowly add it to the eggs in the mixing bowl. Remember, nice steady stream, being very careful. And once we're all set, we've got our combined solution. And it doesn't look particularly appetizing right this moment, but that, my friends, is about to change. Okay, so we've got our pot on low heat. We're going to add our egg, milk, and sugar solution to the pot. Nice and easy. Set a timer for 25 minutes. Over the next 25 minutes, agitate the solution. Make sure it doesn't cook onto the bottom. This is going to be a slow process, so we'll speed it up for you just a bit. Alright, so at the conclusion of the timer, what you're going to do is you're going to take the solution off, either the conclusion of the timer or when it feels nice and thick, coat the back of a spoon, whichever one happens first. Then add it to a mixing bowl because we've still got ingredients left to mix. Up next, you'll be adding 1 cup of light cream. Light cream has fatty acid lipids inside of it, which will slow the coagulation of proteins when you add bourbon later. Coagulation causes curdling, so we want to be able to stop that as much as possible. Milk and dairy compounds are about 87% water. The rest of it is proteins that will kind of condense together if you add acid to the compound, which we will be doing later through the bourbon. So adding this fat contented liquid helps decrease the concentration of proteins. So most holiday parties feature spiked eggnog, which usually has some kind of alcoholic spirit, and this is the main pitfall that people run into in making eggnog, because if you add it too fast, the spirit actually acidifies the environment in which the proteins in the dairy compound that we just made before are existing, and they bind together and they denature and they clot, and it makes it very disgusting to drink. So we're going to add bourbon and we're going to do it very slowly. So our recipe calls for just 1 cup. That should be all that you need. So here comes the tricky part. We've got our egg mixture right here. It's mostly dairy products, and we've got our 1 cup of spirit. We're going to be adding a little bit as we go, just a dash, see, and then slowly whisk that into the hot compound. And then once you whisk it all in, just add a little bit more. See that? Just a dash at a time, because if you do more than a dash, what ends up happening is if you pour the entire spirit in all at once, it will very much so acidify the dairy mixture. The proteins will clot together and you'll get some tiny little curdles that come out as white clumps, and it is highly unappetizing and makes for a pretty bad batch of eggnog, which is why people tend to steer away from making eggnog at home, even though it tends to be much better quality than the store-bought package. So just slight dashes of bourbon or whatever spirit you're using at a time. That's really the secret. A lot of people will pour it all in all at once, and that is the wrong way to go. Alright, what we're going to do now is we're going to strain the final compound, because sometimes, little chunks of clots do happen even if we've done the process right. Sometimes little pieces of egg do cook together. So in order to make sure that we've got a nice smooth mixture, which it looks like we've got from the spout right here, we're just going to smoothly and slowly strain it. So get it in a nice bowl ready to serve, but cover it up and chill it before you're ready to do that, because it's still pretty hot off the stove. So this has been Francis Schultz and Peter Vlogkowski showing you a demo of how to make the perfect holiday eggnog. Thanks so much. Until next time, Chem101.